to do a quick lesson on value. And value is the lightness and darkness that we see in a colour. So I can quickly demonstrate or show you. Here is a picture of a girl's face, and it's a little bit glary. That's better. This is not black and white, but we can still see value changes. So we can see that her skin is going from dark here through to light. We can see that on her nose it is the lightest value, and changes in value is what helps give dimension, that like three-dimensional looks to something. So if we were to look at her arm here, and we can see that the value is changing. It's going from very, very dark in her hair, and then there's a light little reflected line at the start of her arm, and then the value color just gradually changes, and that's making us see the arm as a curve. Now this is a little bit deceptive because we've got a distinct shadow part to her face and then a lighter part to her face. But even within that, if we have a look, say, at her cheek, we can see, even with her makeup on and with the shadow of the lights from the photographer, we can see that the shade or the value of her skin tone has changed. Sometimes value helps us also see distance. So I pulled this picture out, and I just want us to focus on the blue of the sky at the moment, and we can see that the color is going from a really, really deep value through to a light value, and that's giving us the perspective that we need for judging the distance. And it's the same in the rocks here. Predominantly the rocks are just all shades of, or shade, they are shades, they're tints and shades, but they're also known as values of blue. And the change in the value is what's letting us, is telling our brain that there is actually highs and lows within that mountain range. And again, we can look at the greens here in the trees, and the value is changing from a dark to a light and in and out, and that helps us to have depth and perspective. So if we're going to be doing our drawing and painting, we need to be aware of value. So I'm just going to quickly draw up with my pen a little bit of a grid, and you can do this freehand. You don't have to use a ruler. I'm not measuring exactly. I'm kind of wishing I did at the top a bit because it's uneven. Anyway, I can put a thick border there and cover it up, but I'm just using my ruler to form a grid. You could in fact use one of the maths plates, and you could just draw a series of circles if you wanted to, a series of triangles. I'm just doing something quick and easy. And I'll be fast forwarding through this because you won't want to watch in real time how long it takes to do a value scale. But I will demonstrate the first square in each one at some length. And I will also show you how to make your own pencil stub for smoothing and shifting your graphite from your pencil around. All right. Okay, so number one, we're going to have this as being our darkest value, and this one here is going to be our lightest. And here we go. So I'm not pressing hard with my pen, and I'm trying to stay within the lines, but I want this particular square to represent the darkest value that I have in this row. So I've done diagonal lines in both directions, I've done horizontal lines, and I've done vertical lines. Now this one here needs to be just that little bit lighter because we're going from darkest to light. And if you find it hard to go right up to the edge without going out of the lines, you can also put your ruler down so that your pen or pencil or whatever you're working with doesn't go outside of the line. Now that's too big a jump. This is going from dark to pretty light straight away. So I'm going to add another value to this. Now this one's going to be my lightest, so I might actually put that one in about now, because I don't want to go I don't want to go too light too quick or too dark too quick. And I'm thinking this one can still be a little bit darker before it looks the same as that one. Now I need to get a little bit lighter. So I'm still keeping my lines fairly close together. And I'll probably just stop on the diagonals for this one. Yeah. So far that looks like it's changing in value. Now this time and I actually think I need to, now that I put my lightest one in, I think I need to go back and make this dark one a little bit darker. So you can play with these. This is the idea of seeing a value change, because you need to be able to see that value change when you're painting or drawing in order to add the dimension. Now I've not gone all the way to my edges here. Dark, medium. I think I'll put another one in here. Good. These two are looking pretty much the same, so I'm going to make this one just a little bit darker, and then on this one I need to make it just that little bit lighter again. So there we have it. We have a value scale going from dark to light with a normal biro. Now you can do the same with a felt pen. Now I could do the lines, or in this case I'm going to do stippling, which is dots. And I am actually going to work all the way across. I'm just going to put a couple in my lightest. I'm going to put similar sort of number Be good to do this to music, I think. You could do it to the beat. So this one needs a few more dots than the lightest one. Then this one is going to need more than this for our eyes to see the change in value. And I'm going to keep going. So that's another technique. I'm using different materials as well. So this one here is a crayon. You can do the same thing with crayon. And another one that I want to show you is with pencil. So with the pencil, I'm not pressing hard. I've actually got it laying on its side, and I don't want to disturb the tooth of the paper, which is like the texture of the paper. If I press really, really hard straight away, I'm going to press those little particles in the paper down flat, and I'm going to make them all shiny and smooth, and they won't accept any more color. So by using a soft touch, but repeatedly going over and over and over the surface, I can lay down a lot of graphite for me to shift. And there's a textured line starting to pop up from my previous page. I might actually slip something under that. Just so that it's not going to show up all the way along. So here we go. It's getting darker and darker and darker. Now I could keep going by just getting lighter and lighter with my pencil, or I can do it in a much quicker way, and I'm going to show you that. This is called a pencil stub, and they're really, really great. Here's a technical term for smudging pastels and graphite and moving it around and getting really, really lovely changes in value. However, you can make your own if you don't have one of those. So I've got a very, very precious piece of toilet paper. I'm going to fold it in half, fold it in half again. Now I'm going to fold it this way. So it's getting smaller, it's a little rectangle. And now I'm going to fold it down the middle. It's a bit like folding a nappy. So now I've got a little triangle. It's a bit light. So here's my triangle, and then I'm going to fold the triangles together, and I have another little triangle but with a nice point. And now I can use that as a pencil stub, and I can bring my values down. There we go. I've got my darkest value through to my lightest value. So I'm going to keep going with this using the resources that you should possibly have at home, which is a lead pencil, a crayon, a felt pen, and a biro. And I won't use my pencil stub because you might not have one of those, but I will use, or I have used, my piece of toilet paper, and I might try that with the crayon and see what happens as well. So I'm going to go back up to this one, which isn't finished, and keep going, but the whole lot will be in fast forward. I won't keep talking all the way through it, and it would be lovely to see what you've created. All right, so let's get going. So this one here and this one here, crayon, pen, and both doing circles. But I want to change this one up a little bit and show you that you can actually use more than one technique at a time to get a value change. So I'm going to put pencil over the top of my cross hatching, and then I'm going to drag it through. And now I've actually used two different techniques to achieve the same thing. So this one, I might zoom in if I can, just a little. Nope, wrong way. Okay, so this one is using a biro and it's cross hatching. This one here is using a felt pen and I did stippling. This one here is a crayon and it's wax and I did circles. This one here is a lead pencil and I love this one. I did smudging. Back to crayon and I did squiggles. Don't you love these technical terms? Felt pen and I did zigzags. Felt pen and I did number 6. This was a dark Conti pencil and I smudged. And then this one is biro circles. Sorry, I completely missed that. Biro circles with pencil smudging. Wonderful. All right, give it a go. See what you think, see what you can come up with. I'm sure you'll come up with some interesting patterns. If you're running short of ideas, you can always do what I did with this one and then do numbers. So we could have done lots and lots of number ones up here and then changed what we were using or not and do number 2s, or you could do letters of the alphabet. You could even do your name, but you can you know, go with something that's really familiar to you and give it a go, moving from dark to light. And the next short video will be an exercise showing how we use that to turn an object or to make it seem more three-dimensional. Bye.